Welcome back, everybody. Welcome back to Phil's Recap and Review. This is for Invincible, the Season 1 finale, and it is called Where I Really Came From. Joe and I already talked about Invincible a couple of weeks ago about all the reasons why you should be watching it. You can check that video out. It was probably just a couple down on the channel, or I'll put it in the description box later in the for a link for that video. So today we're not going to necessarily be talking about all the things that we really love about Invincible. We're specifically kind of just going to be talking about the finale and what we want to see for Season 2, and also a little special surprise at the end, a matchup, a battle that some people have been wanting to hear about. So Joe and I are going to break down this battle. But as I mentioned, I'm not alone. Of course, I have with me Joe Dirty Locks. How's it going today, Joe?
Fantastic.
Good. We were going to do this on Sunday, but both of us had mixed connections. So we're here today on a weird time on a Thursday afternoon at about 4:20 to talk about this episode of Invincible. If you guys want to share your thoughts, you can join us live in the motherfucking chat. Live with us right now and share your comments, and we'll try to get to them, or you can call on in at 781-990-8509, 781-990-8509. You can also text that number in if you want to get any thoughts in about the season finale or the season in general of Invincible, what your hopes for future seasons. We are not comic caught up, so we don't know what is to happen yet in the comics.
Oh god, not at all.
A couple months from now, things might be different. Joe and I might be doing a different stream that says things to look forward to in seasons 2 and 3 in Invincible.
We will be.
I think Joe and I will definitely be doing that, but that's beside the point. At the moment right now, we don't, so please tread lightly in the comment section and also in the live motherfucking chat right now, because we don't know who might just throw some information out there, like Mark explodes from eating a pizza that is laced with
oh dude, those things were weird.
Very weird. So here we go. Oh my goodness, we got Mandrell. No fear, you guys are doing a live chat without me. I do know what happens. We got Mandrell in the live chat. We got Adrian. We got Killmonger. Great to see you guys in the live chat right now to talk about this episode of Invincible. So to get this all out of the way, quick thoughts. As we said in that other video, I think both Joe had been watching this show. This is almost similar to the way you got me into Vikings way back when. You're like, I'm watching this show. You need to watch it. It's really awesome. Like I know sometimes you'll say, oh, I'm watching all these shows, whatever. But you don't say...
Sometimes I tell you specifically.
Right. You don't always, though. You don't always look at me and go, Phil, you need to watch this show. And you did that. I binged watched it in a week and caught up and then watched the final 2 episodes of the season live. I love the show. It's probably one of my favorite shows on television right now. And I think Joe pretty much feels the same way. Quick thoughts on the season finale before we get into spoilers here, because we'll do a quick...
Well, before we get into that, touching on what you just said, I kind of ran into a show on Amazon Prime, Phil. This show is called Comrade Detective, or Detective Comrade. I forget exactly. But it's... I don't want to really tell you anything about it. It was put on a few years ago, but I just found it. And it's something that I really think you should check out. I think you'll really enjoy, if not the show itself, you'll at least enjoy what they're trying to do.
Yeah, the style of it, and this is an interesting thing just to say that, because that's another Amazon series that you mentioned. I'm really happy with what Amazon has been doing these last couple of years for producing programs. Granted, I'm only talking about a few. I haven't watched all of them, but I know a lot of people do really love something like The Marvelous Miss Maisel. I haven't watched that, but I've heard good things about the production values of that. The Tick obviously came out a couple of years ago, which is good. Unbelievably amazing. Then you've got a show we might mention a little bit later, The Boys, which is a different thing altogether than Invincible, but equally as fucking amazing on Amazon. I would say their 2 best shows right now for me would be Invincible and The Boys. And then this show being introduced into the mix it just fits perfect. And here you're mentioning another show. So and in the next couple of years, we will have the Lord of the Rings series being produced by Amazon, which with this, not meaning it needs to be as raw as this, but with the pedigree of shows that Amazon is putting up right now, it has me even more excited than I was about them producing the Lord of the Rings series, because it seems like they have a good quality detector for their original programming. At least in my, I'm sure there's some shitty ones out there. Someone's gonna be like, Phil, this show. So
there are. And there are like I've gone through quite a bit, and like I said, with the show I just mentioned, Comrade Detective, I think that, or Detective Comrade, I forget which, but it's something that, due to some of the weird shit that you like, Mystery Science Theater,
Yep.
like some of the stuff you really kind of enjoy of how people make or new idea, like at the time when that came out, that was very fresh new idea, right?
Cool.
Like this is something that I think when you watch it, you will have the same reaction I kind of did, and you'll end up watching the whole thing
Awesome.
and enjoy it.
I will definitely try to
I
check.
don't know. I don't want to tell you it's fantastic, it's fucking awesome, or anything like that, because
You're not there yet with it.
I watched the whole thing. We watched the whole thing. I was all in. I was like, this is fucking. I can't stop. The main guy, Katie and I went back and forth about this for hours. I think he's like the dime store Josh Brolin. Like literally, like somebody was walking down the street like, you look like crackhead Josh Brolin. I need you to star in this shit. Like,
but yeah, no, I will try to check it out. But Shamir Williams says, "Hey Phil, dropping in to say hi, but I may drop off because I haven't seen all the episodes yet." We'll give you a little warning before we give any specific spoiler.
Kind of like, well, here's the thing. This is the warning right now.
No. I want to give.
Be able to talk about a finale.
No, but I want to just give reactions to the finale before we get into specifics.
Right.
So my reaction to the finale is fuck yes, what a finale. I actually like the only part of it that I could understand some people maybe complaining about is that the apex of the finale is the middle point of the episode, and then we almost have a Game of Thrones episode 9 and 10 in the final episode. We have the peak. This didn't bother me. I'm just being clear. This did not bother me. But the only criticism I could see of it, other than that it's a perfect finale for me, would be that they do the high point in the middle of the episode, and then you have like an after story kind of stuff that leads into season 2. But I love that they do that, because that means in season 2 they can just hit the ground running, because they set everything up that's going to be starting in season 2. But to me, this was, for what I wanted out of the Invincible season 1 finale, this is a 10 out of 10. This kicked ass. I had so much fun watching this. I watched this twice, and both times I was watching it, my mouth was wide open.
See, I haven't watched it twice. I wanted to watch it a second time, but I didn't really get a chance. But I got a little confused at one point.
Just so we can get into spoilers, give me the Joe Stress thumbs up, thumbs down.
Oh, fantastic!
Okay,
dude.
okay.
This like no. Like you, very much so. Jaw on the floor. When we go through this episode, there's I got a little confused at one point.
Yeah, and we'll get into this. So officially we did that right here. So for all you people that haven't, I know that wasn't too much, but Joe is right when what Joe said before. It's almost impossible to talk about this finale and this show in general. We got into a problem with it too with the first episode, to get into it without spoilers, because it's just a spoiler kind of show. You need to know what's going on, and like this finale is all about learning what is going on. So to get into any specifics,
it kind of spoils itself too as it goes. But just when you watch the very first episode of this, when it does this is all the superheroes, it kind of
okay. Here we go, Joe.
It's odd. It's so.
This is the sound here. Okay, now everything after the electric guitar solo now is spoiler territory. Last warning, if you haven't seen all through Invincible Season 1, this is your last warning. We're going to talk about every single thing that happens in Season 1 and some speculation for Season 2. Mandrell, I'm looking at you out of my side to make sure you don't say anything for the comics too much. And maybe I might give you the wrench so you can just hammer out any comments that you know, so you can just delete everything. Let me give Mandrell a hammer going on in here. Let me add Mandrell as a moderator. So if you see any comments that border on that Joe and I might not want to read, be swift with thy hammer.
I'm all about. I'm
you don't care.
I'm getting any kind of compendium that exists for this shit. I know I'm going to be picking it
right.
up,
Me too. So right from this point on, complete spoilers. People in the live chat. Oh, we got Omni-Man who's very happy with our defense of him in this episode. Killmonger says that train scene was nuts. Never seen anything like that. I think that's a good.
The train scene was, oh my, like right from the moment he's like,
No, seriously, maybe one of the best scenes I've ever seen. And I know I'm hyperbole machine here, but that train scene alone was maybe one of the best single moments of action I've seen on a screen in a while. Animated, not animated, I don't give a fuck. The way that it showed it, the way he's like crashing through, it was. I had said it somewhere. It was deeply. I'm gonna see that in my deep, most horrible nightmares in the best possible way ever.
I mean, I've never seen anything like that on television before.
Me neither.
And when it shows it, and it shows basically Omni-Man's arm holding the back of fucking Invincible's head, and the train like smashes into them face first, head on. And he just holds them there as the train, probably the express train, seeing as how they were at a station, just carves in two, slices down the middle, and everyone inside, you get in the train with them. It doesn't show it from outside in the chaos and explosions.
No, you get the first,
like you would expect. You get that right, almost first person, but it's showing you his face and everything that's going on around him, and the horror, and people just dying and exploding. Dude. And even like popping on him.
Imagine,
because he's invincible and they're just not.
And they're not. And the point that he's trying to make to them, the point that Omni-Man's trying to make to him. And imagine watching that scene in like VR or something, like with the virtual headset, just rewatching that episode and just seeing that all come at you straight. Like just like Mandrell says, Mark was traumatized after that. I'm traumatized after that scene. There was two parts. I mean, so much of it was, and we're going to go through it. We're going to do a recap of the episode and talk about basically everything that happens. But I kind of want to get a couple of the highlight points of that fight, because that whole fight was unlike anything I'd ever seen before. I got so invested in the moment when Mark starts saving the guy and one of the pilots, and he saves him and down. Like the second most horrible moment when Omni-Man just shows up there and he's like, "Dad, you almost killed him," and he just like puts his fist, does the hi-ya thing through his fucking head and fucking chops it in fucking half. And
good, you saved the pilot's life.
50 years later, tomorrow, whenever he dies, it doesn't matter. It was just so sick, and the head explodes. You can just see the blood drip all over Mark. It was one of the most horrific, but besides the violence, because I feel like this is always something you have to curb in this show, and especially in this finale. Besides the violence, this is again one of the moments where pays off that they cast two amazing actors in Invincible and Omni-Man, because Vern goes full Vern in this scene to me. He goes full Schillinger from Oz.
Okay.
And Glenn, and I know you're thinking I'm making too big of a deal, but this isn't me saying he's the greatest actor of all time. I'm just saying he's so perfect in this part, and in this moment, he brings up that Schillinger that I haven't seen in a long time. And then Glenn, Steven, like the way his voice cracks and shit. Like, I like that they cast older for Invincible to play a younger 17-year-old, because he recognizes some of the emotions he might be feeling a little bit too. So yeah, trash on Vern a little bit, because I'm drinking the J.K. Simmons right here.
I wasn't going to trash on Vern or on Glenn specific. That was not my intention. My intention was again to say voice acting.
Oh, shut up.
I've been through that 100 times.
I think in some ways this changes that game. Let's get in the live chat for a second. Omni-Man is kind of sad when Mark got his powers in episode 1, because he knew that this would be coming eventually. Miss Duncan the Tall, finally catch a live stream with Phil the Issues Guy. Finally get to have Miss Duncan the Tall in one of my live streams. Very, very fucking lucky. Thank you to everyone that's checking this out live. We know this is an odd time on a 4:30 on East Coast time on a Thursday. Thursday. Yep, Thursday. But it's really great to have you guys out here to talk about this episode of Invincible and just babble some good fun. Who else we got in the live chat? We got Oakley who says, "Hey Phil, I wanted you to know I'm watching the show because of your recommendation and I'm loving it. Maybe I can see the episode now and join you at the end. How long are you going to go? Probably about an hour or so, but definitely check on in afterwards. By all means, if someone hasn't seen this episode and they're near the time for the finale, shut this shit off. Shut these two talking long-haired weirdo assholes off. And actually,
you can always come back and watch.
Yeah, you can watch us later. And Joe and I will be on we're on pretty much every other Sunday together, and we're going to try to pop up some other times here midweek and get into some fun, silly topics here and there. So as always, when we do these open streams, we can take questions. So if you watch the episode and you want us to talk about Invincible later, we're going to be talking about it in next season as well as The Boys, because we're more into the rhythm of what's going on now. We're going to...
Does that shit start again?
Hope sooner than Invincible's coming back, Joe. We'll get into when it's coming back in a little bit, because there was a tweet that someone put out from the production cast. We might be looking at 1.5 to 2 years for Invincible. I think I think The Boys might be back relatively sooner, but both those shows will be doing episode by episode recaps next time, since this release not in a binge releasing every week thing is just going to be a thing now. So we might as well just talk about stuff week to week again.
And I don't mind that, but here's the problem. I like that idea, but they're going to be doing like these like midnight releases shit, right?
Right. We're going to do it like we won't be able to do it. We'll talk about
the excitement of watching it and coming out right after.
We'll try to figure
like, oh,
Joe, we'll try to figure out the math of all of that and
we have to do that.
Okay, so no, it's
we can't cheat, Phil. We can't be like, I watched it 2 days early.
I mean, we always cheat a little bit.
I mean, you have to, because you have to take notes and you prepare for that shit. I just watch it and wait for you to cue me as to what to fucking talk about.
Hey, one of these days I'll do the same thing. Well, one of these days I'll make you do we'll split duties one night.
I try to do notes, dude. I've tried. I've tried. I get like the first scene or two, and then I'm like, halfway through, I'm like, fuck, I forgot to be...
No, it sucks. It sucks, especially if you're like trying to watch it with me and I'm like pausing and rewinding and stuff. That's why it's better when I watch shit alone. Killmonger, I wouldn't listen to Cecil if I was one of those pilots. That was fucking stupid. It really was stupid at that point when Cecil starts sending more things to distract Omni-Man. At that point, he literally was sending two pilots or two sets to die. There wasn't any... and if or buts about it. He was sending those people to...
That's what they're, like...
I guess, hey, but that's unnecessary. But that's unnecessary. They have no chance to even stop him for a half a fucking second. Oh, we got the Dwarf Burger in the live motherfucking chat.
But they did stop him for a half a second. They stopped him for a little bit, enough to get Invincible up and...
Agree to say you're stupid. Lady Danish... Landy Taylor says, love this season. Finale was amazing. We got Jay that says, voice acting can be harder. You don't have facial expressions or your body to do it, so you have to elicit the emotion in different ways. I added to Jay's comment, but we've talked about this with Joe. We're going to do a whole podcast on that at some point with Joe later, so we don't get too bogged down on that topic, but we'll get we'll do a what does Joe think about voice actors episode at some point. This show...
I just get upset that they use any kind of name for voice acting.
No, fair enough, Joe. Like I said, let's not go too far down that hole today.
What's the point?
Jay says this show isn't as good when you watch the playback as if you watch it live. I think you can say that about a lot of shows. I enjoy the aspect of watching something live and having that immediacy to be able to talk about things with people. Oakley says, can someone in the chat tell me if they said how long? Oh, it will be about... someone can tell you. He said about an hour. Okay, thanks. That robot getting Rex's DNA, Monster Girl likes Rex is weird. That is a kind of weird, fun storyline that I can't wait to see where it goes, but it does strangely make sense that robot would rationalize a situation like that because he's in that young body, but he's really, a 60-year-old, however old that he is. And she talked about how she didn't have anyone her own age that could relate to her. And she's either meeting pedos or dudes that are uncomfortable about the way she looks. So that might be an amazing situation for the robot. She seems open to it. She seems flattered by the fact that robot decided to do that at point. She's giving him a chance to show her something. Would be a more way of saying it. At first, she was put off by it, but there's been a couple of moments in the last couple of episodes where she's like, well, if he's going to do this for me, I think I should maybe give it a shot. And she's like...
Give it a chance.
Right, she's thinking... She's conceptualizing it, and
it doesn't look bad. bad.
Yeah, exactly. He picked Rex, and Rex is looking good. We got Corey Mitchell in the live chat too. Just to check, the last episode is called Where I Really Came From. Yes, that is correct, Oakley. So I guess there's no time to waste here. Let's just get into this because we can give more foreplay, but we can just break down literally what we're talking about is the first thing that happens in the episode. So let's get into this. Recap! Okay. Let's get into this. Now, the finale begins, Mark, in the almost the best possible fucked up way you could start with the body of
Hercules being put back
yeah,
together.
Hercules or like
The Immortal.
The Immortal, which I guess this is one of those random spoilers I actually heard. There's some weird, funny, interesting spoilers with the Immortal. He really is immortal. He's been alive forever. Fucking ever. So, and spoiler alert, that might be an answer to a question that Joe and I deal with later. But we get the end of the fight between them. He falls basically down. We see like the blood dripping down. It sets the scene for the graphic. You said it earlier about the train scene. I don't think I've ever seen something quite like this show on mainstream television network or streaming app like that's this sort of mass produced and is presented as sort of a mainstreamy kind of show that is this graphic. Maybe The Walking Dead. I guess maybe The Walking Dead.
I mean, come on. Like the most kind of graphic thing. I mean, there's other zombie shows though.
Right, there's other zombie
shows.
shows.
The most graphic thing is Rick bit somebody's face, but like
this is
horrific
like
shit.
This is like
singular horrific shit like that has been done. This is like
Kill Bill
whole
times 10.
Train, how many people on that train that we see die in that instant? The surrounding events before and after that train. But like also think about that it's his father holding the back of his head doing this to him.
And how unstoppable he is. So the feeling of like the helplessness you feel in this scene is just like unlike anything you've ever seen before too. Then to the violence, to the excessive. This is type of stuff that like Quentin Tarantino and Robert Rodriguez are like, oh my God, that's too much. It's like, it's so bad. It's so over the top. It becomes almost a poetry onto itself. I know I'm flowering this shit up, but I don't care. But and that's where
and it's not quite as cheesy as anything that they do.
No, and that's the big difference where people want to compare this show to The Boys. I'm not saying The Boys is cheesy, but this show is not funny. And when this show is funny, it's dark funny. It's not like The Boys goes.
There's no laugh out loud moments in this show. There's no outright humor
in The Boys, I'm laughing my way through every episode. In this show, I'm thising my way through every episode. Like, what the fuck? And yes, there's a few of those moments on The Boys with Homelander and stuff. And this isn't
just that first scene where fucking Flash pops.
We're Flash. Yeah, that part. But this show,
I felt about that. I was like, oh my God, yes.
But this show is that on mutagen. Like 10 times the Ninja Turtle mutagen with that kind of stuff. And then The Boys cuts it with comedy or satire type stuff. This doesn't have any of that. This is a very seriously taken world with just incredibly graphic violence that makes sense to within the powers that these characters have in this universe. It makes sense that that's what would happen to Invincible's face after he's getting bashed the fuck out of someone as strong as Omni-Man, who's probably still not punching him at full power. So it makes sense, the violence on this show, in a way that kind of feeds into the narrative of it, and that's part of what makes the show fucking awesome. It's like the way I feel when I'm watching it. Everyone might not feel this way. The way I feel when I'm watching something like I've never watched before. That I'm having a very unique experience. That it's a game changer in the way of adult animation for people. In the sense that now maybe, I know Jay's in the live chat that loves a show like Young Justice. Maybe a show like Young Justice will be more palatable to an older audience because they're like, oh, I saw this show Invincible, and they can deal with the cut down of the violence, but more of adult stories. Like,
see, I can't.
But you can't, but I'm not saying, but some people can, or the Justice League, the old Justice League Unlimited shows, or those kind of things, which are a little bit more kiddie, but still adult centric in some ways in the way that they gear their stuff to all those shows. And I think this show helps make a lot of people more open to that and to stuff that's going to come in the future like that. These DC animated movies that come out on HBO, like the Dark Knight Rises or the Returns or Batman Year One. I don't think they did as well as they would in a world post Invincible being this hopefully being this popular.
Okay, now redo Year One and
do it this
redo. Let Frank Miller redo those Batmans with an eye on what can actually or should actually like bat.
Do you guys notice
I can't believe that little symbol in the top of the fucking comic books, that stupid fucking like, oh, if you want to be a comic book, you have to like, oh,
the comic code. Are you talking about the comic code stuff?
Comic code shit. Like, you know how many years of good storytelling in graphic novels and comic books that have got wasted? How many incredible artists and stories never got told for decades that could have been like this, starting in the 70s and in the 80s instead of having to wait till the end of the 90s for this shit?
I mean, this is the same. The Invincible universe is under the same overall network, I believe, that has Spawn in it and has some other characters like that, like some really crazy. This universe is a good universe and also has Psychic Dog or whatever it is. So I'll be curious to see if more products from this particular thing gets produced on Amazon. We'll see. I want to get in the live chat. Omni-Man. Someone asked if how old is Omni-Man? Mandrell said probably about 1,000 years old. They don't get into that. The only thing that he says specifically is that the Vulturmites, and we might be we might be mispronouncing the name, but they age slower the older that they get. So once they reach a certain age, and I don't know what that age is, but a maturity age, their body starts slowing down, and every year is like 100 years to them. So probably not being one of the oldest Vulturmites, Omni-Man's probably about 1,000 years old. Some of the oldest ones are probably like 5,000 to 10,000 years old. Who knows?
So when did he get there? What year did he?
I don't know. That's all stuff we probably gets into in the comic, and that maybe we'll get into in further years when Mark and Omni-Man inevitably have another conversation. Because if they've got to meet again, and at least that's what I feel like. They will have to meet again at some point.
If he gets there in like the 1400s.
No, he got there 17 years ago. Because
that's exactly when he got there. Like, he got there and he was like, the first thing he did was like, "Ooh, you're a hot alien."
Or maybe, but I think within like 20 years, because that was probably part of his job was meet a human, marry a human, become the hero, raise a son that is going to help you fuck up. Like, that was probably his modus operandi there. Yeah, I bet that's exactly what he did. He came down to Earth about 20 years ago, met his wife within 3 years of living there, married her, had a kid, and raised Invincible, and was hoping he wasn't going to get his powers. Mandrell says they do, Phil. They all live in the same universe. So some of the characters do show up in the comics, but I don't know if they're going to show up in the show, meaning like Spawn and some of the other characters from that particular universe. We got Alicia Kingston in the live chat. We also got Peter motherfucking Griffin. Yep, and Lady Danish says Omni-Man arrived on Earth about 20 years ago. So our final opens up. We see Mark seeing his father soaked in blood. He believes his father is being controlled, and he starts to fight him. Initially, he gets it. He's like, "Dad, you're being controlled. Get the fuck out of my dad, motherfucker." Again, wouldn't that be your reaction if Larry Boy, Papa Bear Larry was coming at you on the basketball court, swat you?
He didn't come at him.
Oh, yeah, or saying those things, saying that thing.
Here's the thing. I come down the street and Larry's in a fight. I don't give a fuck who the fuck he's fighting. I'll figure it out after I help him.
Right, you're going in with Larry. So you think you think Mark? Do you think Mark made the right decision? I guess that's what we'll get to before we get to the fight.
It's not that he didn't make the right decision. It's that he jumped to odd conclusions right away. Mm-hmm. Like Phil, if I see you fighting someone, like, what do you think my reaction is going to be?
You're swinging
if I stumble upon it.
You're swinging. I've seen that situation. You're swinging first, asking questions later. You're clearing it. You're clearing. You're doing the Morgan. You're clearing, and then you're holding. Everyone, calm down, and then you're asking questions. That's what you're doing. I've seen it. I've seen it.
So like, like you take family and friends first.
But that's
Until
the question, Joe. Not me to get to it, but do you think, before we get into the fight itself, do you think that Mark made the right decision? It's a tough one because.
What do you mean?
Okay,
he flew up and punched his dad immediately.
Right. I mean, not.
He flew up, saw Hercules get ripped in half, or Immortal get ripped in half,
yeah.
and then just punched his dad. Now, as far as Mark knew, the Immortal dude was dead. So it would immediately be like,
but he's immortal.
Oh, the Immortal dude that's just attacking dad, that, has been dead for the last, I don't know, 6 to 8 months, dad's got to be crazy. Yep. No, of course it was. Of course I don't think so.
You think he jumped to too quick of a conclusion in that moment?
That his dad, yeah.
Yes, that his dad was. I mean, his dad doesn't waste any time explaining to him after the fact.
No.
Omni-Man is 2000. Omni-Man has arrived to Earth 20 years ago. Omni-Man is 2,000 years old. Swing first, ask questions later, says AK. Killmonger says he wasn't fighting anyone. It was their friend. Jay says, if you put a grenade inside a safe and close it and pull the pin somehow, how the safe will blow apart. There's just a YouTube video about it. We'll check that out at some point, Jay. Peter says, seems like the human response. I wonder if Mark would do the same thing in 2,000 years. The fact that he's 17 and he's naive, or if Omni-Man had done what he said he should have done in that fight where he says, I shouldn't have raised you as a human. It made you weak. If I told you this stuff from the very beginning and just assumed your powers would manifest.
This was my thing, right? As soon as he was born, he should have killed mom. Done.
Oh, and she died she had an aneurysm.
Yep.
But he loved her like a pet, Joe. You don't just kill your pet. You couldn't do that to your dog. You couldn't do that to one of your cats.
Do you see what he did to his son?
Yes, I do. But I think he doesn't look at his son like follow me here for a second. He doesn't look at his son the same way he looks at his wife. I think he looks at his wife as a pet, someone he cares about and has a sort of an affinity for that he would never hurt. His son, he's trying to toughen up in a way that because he knows he can handle that, being a Viltrumite, having the healing power. He knows if you see when he stops punching, he knows the exact point when he needs to stop punching before he's dead. So in a way, he knows that if he ever laid a hand or put that towards his animal, he has such a power advantage, whereas Mark can almost take it. So in a weird way, I think he would never do something like that to her because he does have an affinity for her as a pet. But where Mark is more he looks at more as an equal that he would beat the fucking shit out of if he actually has to. If that makes any sense, Joe. I don't know if that makes sense.
No, it does.
Jay left a message. We will listen to that in a second here. He thought his dad was under mind control until his dad told him the truth. Now, at the final begins, he explains that his planet is Voltrum, as a brilliant civilization due to getting rid of the weak, making it the greatest empire in the galaxy. So what we basically seem to see there is the truth of the Voltrums is that there was
the conquerors.
Yeah, but even before the conquering, that there was some sort of Hunger Games.
War.
Yeah, Hunger Games on the planet, and only the strong survived. And then whoever the ones that were left over were allowed to breed and push on, so that you could only have the strong survive. So I guess that's the vibe I got. I'm sure they'll get into that more in the comics. And we see a couple of random Voltrons. We see not Voltrons, Voltamites
fighting each other.
We see a giant dude with gray hair and an eye patch. We see a couple of other characters popping up. We see the planet of Seth Rogen's characters with Omni-Man kind of getting enslaved.
Urath.
Yeah, so we see a bunch of different things within that little quick flash as he explains his people how his people, though eventually it got hard, they only conquered as many worlds as they could, so they had to think of a different sort of Trojan horse kind of philosophy where they would send one of their greatest soldiers.
Soften the planet up.
Exactly. Soften from within so it's an easy conquest when they come in and move through. So you kill all the heroes, you get in line as the main hero of the planet with nobody else, so you can just turn your back when the attack happens and you're done. Almost similar, not dissimilar to what the Hawk people did in the Justice League animated series when they sent Hawk Girl down to the planet to join the Justice League, knowing that they would invade the Earth one day because they needed to use it to create some space Huzapalu to defeat their enemies. So Nolan tells Mark that it's time for Earth to join the Empire and they need to get ready for it. Mark is emotional and he can't believe what his father's saying as the man he loved continues to justify what he's doing, which is essentially planning to kill millions of people. Nolan claims that they can eradicate war, eliminate hunger, and secure the future of the Earth. It gets really fucking dark, really fucking quick in the way, and the actor's response to it, what? Like his head exploding.
Yeah.
Makes a lot of fucking sense.
Now this reaction and this decision, not wrong.
No, definitely not.
Once he figures it out, and what his dad doesn't understand is he says, you're 90% Vitramite or whatever.
99, whatever.
He's 50%. He's 50.
Right, but they're saying his genes are so strong.
Even though he's got pure DNA, he goes, Voltramite DNA is so pure, you're practically 100% Voltramite. No.
I'm half human.
That's not how it works. And you raised him in the culture of humans, and what you're seeing now is what you're going to get when you bring your armies.
Yeah,
you're going to get a bunch of humans that let themselves get fucking wiped out because they're stubborn assholes and they can't let themselves be taken over by an alien race.
It reminds me
of a bad thing.
It reminds me a little bit of like how Sarek is always with Spock, like you're a Vulcan, you're Vulcan. No, he's half human too. And don't forget that Spock is half human, and that's why he does show emotion sometimes. That's what he does have friends. He does care about people in a way of a non-logical mindset at points in times. But here we go.
But it doesn't explain why Data does.
It's a subroutine, Joe. We got Tony Pajamas! Sorry, Tony Pajamas. I love your name so much in the live chat that I want to play like stupid music and like sing Tony Pajamas! It's just such a fun screen name. Some screen names make me dance, and Tony Pajamas makes me dance. The Viltrumites live so long that human life doesn't really matter to them. And that's one of those things he says when he's trying to rationalize that all these people you're going to live thousands of years, 17 years, or in the people that in the 100 years that those people the maximum some of those people could live. We'll take the best case example that, someone doesn't know how long, someone asked in the chat how long Eve can live. I don't know about that. Mandrell might be able to answer that question a little bit better than I, but ultimately, most of the people he would know potentially would be dead within 100 years of the thousands of years Invincible is going to live. And some of these Viltrumites that might live 2,000 to 5,000 to 10,000 years, who knows? I don't know the extent of it. I don't want to rationalize anything of which Nolan was doing, but the point that he's trying to make, there is, I can get it. And this is where we get into, again, a conversation we're going to get into at the end of the show about two characters from two different shows, comparing them. I don't think Nolan is insane. I don't think Nolan is off balance. He's a soldier trying to stick to what his...
I'm not insane. He's not a human. There's nothing about him so he's not human. So he doesn't give a shit. This general is not human.
Exactly. Psyche. This to him is like stepping on an anthill. And I'm not saying you should go stepping on anthills, but like that to him, that's about the, oh shit, I stepped on an anthill. Oh, poor ants. Done. I don't care.
When it comes down to it, a lot of primates look a lot like us, just a lot hairier, right? They look a lot like us, right? And humans and Viltrumites or whatever, they look exactly alike.
Yeah, pretty much, and to the point where Voltamite DNA, I keep fucking up the name, but whatever. It's compatible with DNA. Not just humans, because Nolan's probably not the only one that's done this. They just probably have a DNA that they adapted so that they can like sort of combine with almost any other.
But we don't know that there's breeding going on other planets.
I'm guessing that is part of the mission.
We don't know though.
We don't. You're right. You are right. We definitely do not know. We can eradicate war by murdering everybody. He said.
Because what if there hasn't been? One of the problems, remember this, one of their problems was that they are so spread thin with all the planets that they control now and keeping those planets in line and supply chains going and everything that they can't continue on their massive spread. So what I kind of foresee is hey, look, I made a Vitramite.
Yeah, no, fair enough. Fair enough. But
we have a planet we can breed with.
I'm going a step further to say that maybe exactly what you said, but that's why part of this mission is to go to another planet and multiply and breed. So it could go either direction, and I know we're gonna find out. Like that's one of those things I already know we're gonna find out more about. In the same way, and this is another Star Trek thing that's similar to what the founders did with Odo and other changelings, where you send them out to sort of infiltrate and learn about the planets that you maybe want to conquer at some point in time. So let's get a couple of chats right here. Move over, Stannis. We have a new Parent of the Year contender. I'm going to repeat that one when Joe gets back. Does anyone know how long Eve will live? Mandrell says that Eve will live just about as long as Invincible. And Dwarfburger said he chose to go through the ritual stripping himself of emotion. Spock, old Spock anyway, new Spock yells and hits all the time and goes, "Khan!" That's what he does.
Old Spock yelled and hit all the time too.
Sometimes, especially when he was evil Spock. Corey Mitchell did say something fun when you were gone, Joe. Move over, Stannis. We have a new Father of the Year with Omni-Man. And
I don't know. He didn't kill him.
I'm happy to catch a stream with Joe. Started watching because of Joe's Walking Dead rants. We have a lot more Walking Dead rants to go. 24 more episodes of The Walking Dead.
Oh, yes.
It's going to be...
We have watched, and since we started, like, religiously this show, right? So, like, we're going to finish it up.
We're finishing it. I can't wait.
Good or bad. It's
going to be a fun ride.
They get the full treatment.
It's going to be fun. AK says, Vulcans and their damn no feelings nonsense. Ponfar is a thing for a reason. You're not supposed to shut off your damn feelings. If people don't know what Ponfar means, like, Vulcans go in heat once every, I think it's 7 years. Might be and they just turn into these sex creatures that you need to lock them in a room and let them hump things and stuff like that. They get pretty crazy because AK's right. They hold to their emotions and they turn into that. So did the Jedi Council allow one to leave?
The best is I'm sorry, Cable Guy.
Oh, when they're replicating the fight. Remember when old Spock and young Spock? I like that. That's an underrated movie.
It's so underrated. Jim Carrey's fantastic. Matthew Broderick's fantastic.
I love that.
I'm sorry, I just don't have any room in my life for a new friend.
I don't know, but the guy building human robots or androids in the sewers creep me the fuck out. The Vulturemites are not there yet, but Joe is on to something. No spoilers. Once every 7 years because of the buildup of emotion. And Jay trying triple trying to troll me with the he wrote it, then he tagged me in it. New Spock better than old Spock. New Trek better than old Trek. Blue Knight going down. Blue Knight going down. Blue Knight going down. Dev's about to. Devin, go easy in the chat, but have fun. So Mark.
You're joking. Oh my god.
No, there's no jokes. God. Eve is even more invincible than Mark. Eve, and I assume like Eve is supposed to be the Wanda of the whole equation, and she does seem ridiculously like they're not even tapping into how powerful Eve actually can be because she can just create matter.
She is the most powerful in the entire universe. You see her, she gets home, she's exhausted, she's filthy, and she's clean.
Yeah, all of it's gone.
There is no bad.
Dude, seriously, imagine.
Are you kidding me?
Out of all the superpowers you possibly could have that are actually functionable, dude, imagine if you could just go clean, food. Clean, yeah. Food, clean.
And then coffee,
yep.
Clean.
Blunt, beer. You know, like you can just do anything you want. That's the power to get. You know, that's the one I want. So Mark does not accept what his father's saying, and with tears in his eyes, he decides to fight him. The new Guardians of the Globe have no idea what to do as they see Mark getting his ass whipped by his father. I have to say, I know some people, it's hit or miss. We've talked about Rex before. Played by Jason Mantzoukas, a member of. I actually liked him I liked him in this episode. This was the first episode I liked him.
Here's the thing. I railed against Mantzoukas the other day.
Nahant, right? A Nahant boy, by the way, not a Swamp Scott. Nahanter.
Yeah, and here's the thing. For someone I can't stand, right? He is in so many fucking things that I love.
You love, yeah, a lot of stuff you love.
Nine-Nine, first season of that other animated space show. This, there's a huge list of shit that he's in that I'm like, I really like, and then he shows up in a scene, and I'm like,
I did okay. The moment I liked him in this
guy got work.
the moment I liked him in this episode was the moment where he where he starts wiping down the thing. You know, where
no, I completely agreed with the character in that moment. After doing what they did and helping what they helped and cleaning up what they cleaned up. They had every right to wipe that. They're never going to forget what just happened.
It was
they don't need the stain of the others.
Absolutely, Joe. It was actually a really powerful moment. You know, it was and when the other dude, the head of the team, was like, "Nah, we're a fucking team." After they're fighting and stuff, they did feel like a team in that moment. It did feel like it was earned through this season of starting out and seeing those guys be a little naive and going through the up and downs. And that's one of the things that this show does well. And yeah, we are licking the labia and sucking the balls of this show. But for me, I think it works with all the side characters too. There's not one story I didn't particularly enjoy.
I was a little upset about that because fuck you, dude. Fuck you.
Which one?
Now we're a team.
Oh,
now we're a team. Now we're a team because I was washing this shit off because no, what we just fucking dealt with, and it doesn't. You shouldn't have been telling me to stop. You should have just grabbed a fucking rag instead of trying to fucking throw your fucking shit around.
But
you should have grabbed a rag and just started fucking helping.
In fairness,
they would have walked over and we still would have had a team. But no, you had to go throw your fucking balls out and be a fucking hard ass. And okay, see, I'm the captain. And now that all of you are going to protect him, okay, just kidding. Now we're a team.
In fairness, Joe,
go fuck yourself. Get the fuck out of here, you piece of shit.
In fairness, Joe, I hear what you're saying, but it did sort of complete the thought of earlier in the season when Rex was talking shit to him and he was wrong. So it like flipped it around to show it, and it was sort of like. But I definitely hear what
Rex was wrong earlier in the season,
right? And they made him out to be an asshole, and they made that guy out to be an asshole in that moment and showed his whatever. But I definitely hear what you're saying. Merle Davis.
And they made him out to be an asshole again.
Merle Davis
made him out to be an asshole again. The first thing he does is Rex decides to do the first fucking right thing, in my opinion, since the show fucking starts, right? The first fucking time he's like, I'm doing something for my fucking team. This isn't just for me. None of us need to see this shit anymore. None of us. What just went down, that doesn't need to fucking be here anymore to remind us. And this dude decides to be a fucking asshole about it.
No, I hear you.
The rest of the team calls him out on it. He's like, yay, just kidding, teaching moment, we're a team now, okay, let's go wipe it off. No, go fuck yourself and get the fuck out of here, asshole.
It was a little bit of a George Costanza moment where he had to back out of the room a little bit. I agree.
No, yeah.
Joe rants are the best. We got AK in the live chat. No dreads equals fake Joe. Hey Phil, what is this fake Joe? We got Merle Davis. I want to send Merle Davis some love. Hopefully he's feeling better. I know he was going through a little issue a little bit before, so we're sending Merle's one of our favorites, and lots of good vibes out to Merle in the live chat. I would call him, but I'm not sure what this topic is about. Hey Phil, and Mandrell's adds, I really hope the show gets into Eve's backstory. It's really dark and people are gonna love it. So I love the way that Mandrell teases us, by the way. Mandrell's teasing us in the exact right way to do it. Like, he knows it. He's like,
her parents are fucked.
Her parents are fucked in the fuck. He's a douche fuck. Douche fuck. So Mark does not, speaking of douche fucks, Mark does not accept what douche fuck is saying. In his eyes, he decides to fight him. Now, Cecil continues to throw the arsenal. We talked a little bit about that earlier. Nolan tries to stop him. Nolan's like, dude, he's just wasting time. And then immediately when they start fighting, we're gonna do a little design thing. Mark's like, okay, he's like, you don't know what you're asking. Mark's like, I'll fight you. I don't care, right? So Mark goes to try to punch him. Omni-Man punches him. Then he catches him when he flies back and then slams him down like hard. Like,
so you got that voice acting shit down, Phil.
Oh, thank you. Give me a job. So then they go back and forth. They start kicking each other's ass. And again, I don't feel like I can do justice to talking about the way this scene visually looks. So if you haven't seen it and you're watching this just for fun to listen to us babble, even if you have no interest in watching all of Invincible, go and check out this scene on YouTube. It's all over YouTube right now. Like, you can watch it. Just this fight alone, individual onto itself, is just one of the most fun.
Which one?
Omni-Man versus Invincible here is just the father versus son.
No, I'd say watch the first one.
You think the first one's
episode 1 fight?
Yeah, but we're just talking about, obviously, because that's the moment you'll know whether you watch this show. But also this fight alone, I think this fight, obviously,
the train scene, like even
that train
scene when he throws him through the fucking building and he lands in the street and he kills some people in the fucking street. Even that, when he realizes, holy shit, I just killed a bunch of fucking
countless people. Killmonger says, this show makes me think the Avengers are shitty heroes. You think Homelander's lasers could do anything to Omni-Man? Killmonger, just to give everyone a little preview, at the end of our recap of this particular episode of Invincible, we're going to do that. No spoilers, Joe, because I know you're going to want to say something right now, but no spoilers. We're going to set it up. We're going to talk about it. People have been asking about it, so we'll do it. The fight. Who would win in a fight between Homelander and Omni-Man? A little teaser for the end of the show. We're going to get into that. Joe, hold your thoughts. Don't make me take you off the camera as Joe's thinking about this fight. Okay, so let's get back into the Invincible Omni-Man fight. Mark's getting his ass whipped. Mark tries to fight. Caesar continues to throw arsenals at Nolan. Nolan tries to stop him. Nolan shows his violence, killing the pilots of the 2 military planes in front of Mark to prove humans' weaknesses. And we talked about that earlier. That's one of the sickest.
He dropped his fucking head.
Yeah, chopped his head after Mark went out of all this way just to save this guy. He just cuts him in half, okay? Nolan keeps trying to prove a point. It just becomes a bloodbath. Their fight ends up in the city, which ends up destructive. It's almost a nod, and I don't think it's a nod because it came out way before. The comic came out way before, but it made me think of that scene in Man of Steel when Zod and Superman beating each shit out of each other in the city, and all the buildings are crashing down. It seems like no one's in trouble. You don't see that people are in trouble till Batman vs Superman, or where you see what was happening in the streets, but it was a scene like that where Mark, just on getting punched and getting his ass kicked and falling back, falls through a building that kills probably a couple thousand people. Yeah, I was gonna say at least 5,000 to 10,000 people.
When the building falls finally, but he first just goes through the building.
Yeah, just the fucking impact.
Lands in the street and takes out a whole shitload of cars as he's tumbling down the street. That are all the traffic. Pedestrians and shit, he's not when a car barrels down a street, eventually something stops it, right? Nothing stops him.
No, and
he's done moving.
Dude, you've talked about the train scene a couple times, and I want to talk about it 20 more times because that's what's so amazing about that train scene, and it's nothing you've ever seen before, and the way that those powers have been dictated. It's almost like his head is Wolverine's claw. You know when you see Wolverine slashing through stuff that's nothing, and it just goes right through a whole fence or something. This was doing that with someone's head through a whole train.
Right, and we've seen Superman stop the train, or I think we've seen the even in the boys, I believe, the chick lands in front of an armored car,
Maeve,
and it just crumples around Maeve, and it crumples around her. We've seen that a dozen times.
We've seen Spider-Man stop shit. We've seen
this just it slices right.
Dude, he carves a turkey that the turkey is the train with a sharp knife that is his son's head.
Face, right?
That's don't mean to get.
And they don't even move his body. It's not like the train makes his body fly up and his head is that.
It doesn't happen until the very end. It happens the very end of the train. Finally, it hits something that causes the train to pop at the end. But for so much of that, he's just cutting right through it like butter. It's fucking horrible. And the look on Mark's face watching that.
He's horrified. He's horrified. He's mesmerized. He's entranced. He's the PTSD he's going to suffer.
Oh, no. Holy fucking shit. Literally, Omni-Man turned Mark into a buzzsaw into that train. Yes, lady. It was disgustingly awfully amazing. You know, to that point of where even, I don't know, it was like gross, oh, awesome. Oh, I mean, that was my mindset of watching. We've got Celebrity Bikini in the live chat. Welcome. So their fight continues. Nolan continues to prove the point using his body to bludgeon people on the subway. He calls them worthless as he stays loyal to Voltron. Nolan shows... He glimpses. It gets to the point where Nolan continues to beat his son sensibly, but eventually flashes back. Now I'm going to play a few seconds of the audio of this. Fuck it, if we get striked here, let's do this shit.
They resist.
That's why we're here, to keep them from resisting, to show them how wrong they are, how pointless it is, that they can be a part of something bigger, or die.
Or die.
I won't let you.
You want to die for this planet? Fine. What's 17 more years? I can always start again. Make another kid.
Oh my fucking God. Now that part right there, like with the way he's saying
that
it,
hit you in the feels, Phil.
That did. It hit me in the feels for a lot of reasons, Joe. But it hit me. That's where, and again, this isn't a voice acting thing. That was the moment where he really reminded me of Vern Schillinger. Like he's yelling at Beecher, like, "You asked for this, Beecher. You fucking," like, and he's pounding on him, like getting ready to stick a fucking pool cube up someone's ass and some shit in Oz. Like that. That's like if I don't know if you've seen the movie where he's the music teacher. I'm blanking on the name of it. Really good movie where Vern plays a fucking son of a bitch. He doesn't always play sons of a bitches. Sometimes he plays a nice guy, Commissioner Gordon or J.J. Jonah Jameson, like a wisecracker, but he's really good at playing evil. And this is full on J.K. doing this stuff. And Steven, the way they... Okay, another thing. After this fight, when he finally stops, he gets the flashback of him playing baseball with the stupid game of baseball, and he ends up out of all of that. And then... Like the way that they have him breathing afterwards, like every time he inhales, you see like the blood splat up. It's so fucking disgusting, dude. And then he gets up and finally yells at him with the meme, which ending up being the meme from this episode, where listen, Mark. He gets up. Do you know, Mark, this image that I have on the screen right now? Oh, fucking disgusting. Fucking disgusting. This line right here. Looks at his son with disdain, and then he just yells at him, "Bitch, fucking ass."
Why did you make me do this? You're fighting so you can watch everyone around you die. Think, Mark. You'll outlast every fragile, insignificant being on this planet. You'll live to see this world crumble to dust and blow away. Everyone and everything you know will be gone. What will you have
everybody.
after 500 years?
Oh, God.
Oh, that, like, it's just, and then he flies off into space. I love the visual of the way the blood flies off of him as he goes into space, and you see a tear fall down as Mark fucking got to him. Mark fucking got to him in that fucking moment. His memory of his son, the love for everything. He's not a human. He has a heart in there after all, and it did reach him. In those 17 years, Mark did make a difference. But in that moment, listen, Mark, like that's a highlight of the episode kind of moment where I was like, the first time I'm watching that, again, at that moment in the episode, I'm like freaking, I'm like, how the fuck is this not going to end with Invincible dying? It is. It's a Gul Dukat rant. I was losing my shit at that moment the first time I watched it. Live chat. Or die. The pause is what made me laugh. That is
Corey
what.
Mitchell.
What did Corey Mitchell? If the train leaves Chicago going 90 miles per hour, just answer Mark's face. The answer is just Mark's face. That's the SAT answer. Brennan Ingram, JK is fucking ripped. He got ripped for the Justice League and he wore a coat the whole time. But like if you see him working out, he looks fucking huge. So we're gonna get into it a little bit at the end. But I'll say right away, I don't want to see a Invincible live action. I want all attention for the series to go into the movie. I don't want to see them do this live action unless they let, again, Quentin Tarantino and Robert Rodriguez direct it with an endless budget. That's like the only way that I would want to see this done. But even then, there's no need.
That wouldn't be right.
No, because it would have to be another series. You couldn't do this all in a movie. Like what?
No. I would want to see Zack Snyder do this in a series.
Okay, maybe. Like I don't want to see
Just because the way that Superman Justice League fight plays out.
You're a Snyder fanboy, so you're looking for any opportunity to give him another super universe.
I'm not a Snyder fanboy. I'm like, when I see the list of his movies and work and everything, it's not that I'm a Snyder fanboy, not at all. But the way that fight played out, I think he could do
something stylized
really
like that.
Good shit with this.
Right, and then he doesn't have to write it because the writing's sharp.
It's done.
But that being said, I don't want to see a live action version of this.
No, me either.
It does not. I'll say it again. This does not.
This is a comic book.
This is a comic, and animation is perfect for this. Not every comic book adaptation has to be live action, and some things are better animated or better just on paper. But and this is something that's better animated. Just like I think The Boys works better in live action because it's funny and it's like relatable in that sense, and you want to be a human in that world. This, I don't want budget. I don't want live action, any part of this. I want to watch this in an adult animation style.
And that's the thing. Okay, so look at television, right? You had back in the day, right? You had animation was for adults, right? The Flintstones,
early Jetsons, like
these, and then at some point it became like even all those old Tex Avery films and shit. Like at some point they decided animation is for children, right? Adults want live actors and all that, right? So all animation started becoming geared towards children. It wasn't until around like The Simpsons, right?
The Simpsons
Fritz
and
the Cats.
And then I would say that this is where I think this could be a game changer in that way, because I think everything since The Simpsons has broken through that, generally speaking, is for live action that has been somewhat of a success, whether it be The Simpsons, Family Guy, Futurama, Rick and Morty, BoJack Horseman, Big Heads. Like all these shows that have been success all have a similarity in the way that they're sort of a dark humor, funny, over-the-top stuff, not serious-based drama. Like in the way
not geared for anybody really under 14.
Right, or people that like funny, like family funny comedy shit, like Futurama or South Park or whatever. Like all those kind of things are more, like 14 to 29 age group focus. This is set at people that want deep storytelling with real graphic stakes feeling violence in an animated form. There's not a lot of stuff in our culture. Maybe there is with some anime stuff that I'm not as much of a fan of, or I haven't been exposed to enough. But for the mainstream American audience, this is a very new kind of show. And
with how much graphic violence is in this, Mandrill, is there nudity in the books?
Maybe. Oh, and I guess the only ones I would say that are good sort of proto versions of this show would be shows like Aeon Flux and stuff like that, which had some sort of interesting adult stylized animation. But all that was Adult Swim, like extended off the Adult Swim, which again is that 14 to 29 age group that they were targeting at. Where I guess this one is more, I think, for 30s and 40-year-old people that grew up with the story of Superman, or grew up with like all these kind of stuff. Or I think this is more for everyone, for 18 to 50. 18 to 65 could enjoy this show. I suggested this to my 60-year-old cousin, and they loved it, like second cousin, but and they loved it. And I suggested this to a 19-year-old girl I worked with, and she liked it, so it's that kind of show where I wouldn't do that with
this. This spreads the gambit. Yes.
Where I wouldn't necessarily do that with South Park, The Simpsons, or Rick and Morty. It's like more specific audiences enjoy specific things. Anyways, no Phil, just did he say he doesn't want a live action Bird Notice? Aeon Flux was MTV. In the Boys comic,
Notice was fun.
Killmonger says, in the Boys comic, it's pretty much softcore porn. Flashbacks, Nolan is annoyed, and he flies off, and he has that whole thing. The aftermath. On the news, we see... I mean, we can kind of yada yada the end of the episode, but the end of the episode, we get the aftermath. We see Mark getting healthy again. We see all of Mark's friends combining together. His best friend, who I love that character.
Tig's girlfriend has him start working all over again.
Right, have him works all over again. I love how Mark's best friend...
I like he's able to, like, fuck with Omni-Man. He's able to. Why didn't he go fucking slow Omni-Man down a little? He could just keep doing that, like
invisible room thing. Oh yeah, the bouncing around thing. The porting.
like that was
portaling.
fun. I was like, yeah,
That was a good. Cecil, I think, is going to become a very interesting friend and adversary in future seasons. He's going to be very much like the dude in Heroes, the dude with the glasses. That at times he's going to be on your side, at times he's not going to be on your side. I think. Oh, we got the one and only motherfucking Bridge 4 in the live chat. Good to see Bridge 4. Love you, buddy. Charlize Theron version. Yeah, we did the Charlize Theron version. Great to see Bridge. Thank you for popping on in here. I know you haven't watched this show, but thank you for popping in for the support, Bridge. Love you, buddy. So the end of the episode, we see Cecil bouncing around, doing all of that. Like you said, I think, and I enjoyed all of his friends coming together. I like how Mark's best friend there has such a big mouth. Like he ends up saying it to Adam and Eve before, and Amber, both of them before. Mark ends up back with Amber at the end of the episode, which in Adam and Eve and the friends, they all hang out. They go out for pizza. His mother is like really losing it, crying, and they go out and get some pizza and have some good times with their friends. And they have like an awkward conversation about like, what else do we talk about? This is the only thing going in the news. And before we get to Cecil calling him off, then we go over to another scene where, okay, I do want to say this because I know, again, your thing about voice acting, and I don't want to go too far down this hole, but Mark Hamill has been, obviously everyone knows him as Luke Skywalker. Everyone knows him. I was going to make some joke about one of his random roles again, but I already made that joke. Everyone knows him as the Joker in the Batman animated series, playing over-the-top voices. He also did the Green Goblin on the Spider-Man animated series. Thousands of other animated voices, and also did just like, you know, in the video game voices, and also is on The Flash playing a character in The Flash too. But this is maybe one of the first times I've seen him do and I could, correct me if I'm wrong, someone in the comment section, where he does a voice character where it's not some weird super masked super villain or some big character where he's doing crazy voice. He's almost doing just an extension of his Mark Hamill voice, but still creating a character. And sneakily, he is the dude that designs the suits. The guy at the end that has the drink with the wife and stuff. Like him in that little small role, doing a normal-ish voice, creates so much character in that little role as being Nolan's best friend. And it makes sense. At the end, she's having a drink with him. They're relating to, they miss him, even though he's a fuckhead, you know, because they were ingrained by him and they really believe that I'm his wife.
He thought he was going to be murdered by Nolan too that night.
That he did. But again, that would be like a moment where you end up doing that, freaking out and calling Katie your pet crow, and beating the shit out of me, and like Katie and I having a drink, being like, you know, we miss Joe.
You're calling Katie my pet anything?
I didn't call. I'm saying in the equation of this universe.
I ain't calling her pet anything. No.
I was gonna do it for me, but I don't have anything to say. Phil, did you know that the Trickster was before the Joker? And I also knew it's Hobgoblin, not Green Goblin. Thank you, Merle. I think I said Green Goblin. It was the Hobgoblin. I hear calm Joker in his character. I do as well. Phil, Mark Hamill did the Hobgoblin in Spider-Man. Thank you, Jay, and thank you, Merle. Merle Tim for correcting me.
Yeah, dude, you're just so fucking wrong.
I know. I said Green Goblin, not Hot. It's fucking
called the fuck out.
I had the wrong fucking Goblin, dude. I am actually upset about that because I know it's Hobgoblin.
Yeah, dude, I knew you knew.
I know. Like I want to pretend like I'm just whatever about it, but I'm.
I think of it, Phil.
Yeah, see, Joe's leaving the show. Joe is retiring because I got that wrong. But all jokes aside, I am pretty upset with myself that I got that wrong. But whatever. Brendan in the live chat. Phil, get it right. What the fuck? Who the fuck are you, Phil? Talking shit, thinking you know what you're talking about. Okay, so the emotions get high. She cries in the corridor. Cecil tells her that they want to protect her against Omni-Man's identity, and because of that, they're going to say that that Nolan died, and now his books are going to be selling for a higher price. So they're going to be taken care of financially because Nolan is now a dead writer whose books are going to sell more. Now he's trying not to make up for it, and so at the end we see Mark going home. We already kind of talked about this, and eventually Mark gets called away from their pizza date to go back out into space. And it's another cool visual scene, but an interesting parallel to Omni-Man flying into space and Body kind of losing the blood off of it. When he when Mark goes into his Invincible costume, his clothes kind of dissipates, and he goes and has a conversation with the alien, Alan the Alien, I believe the character's called, played by Seth Rogen, the producer of the series. And they have a conversation about, I guess, essentially where this series is going to go. He talks about there's some sort of like group that he's trying to form, and with other alien races that are trying to battle the Viltrumites. And he talks about how Nolan leaving the planet is really rare and weird, and they might need to do something about that. So I don't know if Alan the Alien's going to go try to talk to Nolan and be like, why did you leave the planet Earth? Join my little group to try to stop the Viltrumite planet forces. And then also he also mentions to Invincible that the V's don't give up, and if when they find out that Nolan left, they're going to send more people down, because basically what they did to Alan the Alien's planet was when they felt like they were going to lose the battle, they blew up the planet instead of losing. So that's the kind of motherfuckers we're dealing with here, that if they feel like they're going to lose it, they'd rather you die than admit defeat. So that's why it's really fucked up that Nolan left. So I guess it's that kernel of hope that Nolan really is a good person somewhere, and could be used to bring down the bad guys at some point in time. But who knows? I don't know what kind of storyline they're going to do with Nolan. And then we get, what are you going to do, Invincible? And then I really liked this. Like, some people might not like this and think it's cheesy, but I dig when television shows do this. It felt very Sopranos or Sons of Anarchy. We got the end of the episode where we flash to every villain character that we saw this season. We see the aliens, the time travel alien ones that could make themselves older and younger.
So they didn't get wiped. I didn't wipe them all completely. I didn't even kill the main bad guy.
No, they didn't. They're planning for their reaccount. We see the Mars thing with the multiplying fucking starfish guys from Superman. They're that version of that, like they hide venom creature things. We see that underground guy that can control rocks. We see Battle Beast in space kicking some fucking ass. We see the team, and Battle Beast, of course, is that thing that was almost more powerful than Nolan. I'd love to see Battle Beast fight Nolan. Like, I want to see.
That's what I'm waiting for.
I'm waiting for that. That's got to be in season 2, right? Like
they have to have come across that species at some point. No.
Yeah. Who the fuck? I mean, I know he's Worf, and people that don't know, he's played by Michael Dorn, like very appropriately played by Michael Dorn, doing the voice of Battle Beast. But you have no honor on this planet. I'm kicking your ass. So I can't fucking wait to see Battle Beast. I want to see Battle Beast fight Alan the Alien too. I want to see Battle Beast fight everybody. Is basically what I want to see. I'm a huge, even though he was only in one moment of one episode, the fact that we see him at the end of the episode and we saw all these characters leads me to believe that we'll see them all again at some point in time. Yeah. And then we flash to him say, "I'm gonna graduate high school, maybe," and that's it. And I like the song that they did at the end. Again, it was very, very Sons of Anarchy or Sopranos-like ending, where we fly around to all of our characters, and then Alan the Alien and the Seth Rogen Stone-D voice is like, "What's high school?" And that's the end of our season finale. I said it earlier, I'll say it again, 10 out of 10 side, but like really fucking great season finale of a television show. Not all TV shows, even if they're great TV shows, know how to end seasons without doing weird cliffhangers or something. Because I think cliffhangers are an easy way, a kind of like, not a sellout, but like a quick, easy fix to creating some drama or something at the end of a season. It's harder to complete your story and then introduce another story for the next season, which is what the early seasons of Game of Thrones did so well, by sort of giving your conclusion. And I think Breaking Bad did this really well too, giving your conclusion towards the end of the season and then having the last episodes of the season lead you into the next one. And this finale did both. It gave you the conclusion, the strong conclusion that you needed for this particular season of everything that they built up, all the stakes that they did. And think about how many shows that you followed through a whole season or through a whole series, and you've waited for that finale to kind of push you over the top. You're edging your television enjoyment all the way out to the finale, and then nothing matters, and then you get to that finale, and it's like, oh, okay. You have to start talking yourself into it was okay. This episode killed it. If I could give this a 12 out of 10 for finale, I would. For the whole season 1 of Invincible, I give it a 10 out of 10 as well. Like I enjoy this series immensely, probably too much. But it's a show that is almost kind of made for me and made for what I like.
I watched another show on Netflix called Shadow and Bone.
Oh, my buddy, I don't know if he's still in the live chat, but I believe Bridge watches Shadow and Bone.
Now it's the bad guy from Punisher, the best friend there.
Oh, the dude that was in Westworld too?
Maybe.
I think he was in Westworld too.
But he is in it, and fucking spoilers, everybody. It's like the ending. It's season 1 of Heroes.
So it's a perfect ending, is what you're saying.
Yeah.
Okay, well we'll get it. We'll get
like the sword rain.
Okay, we'll get into this on a different stream because I don't want to spoil another show. I've been wanting to watch it, so I'll binge watch it, and then maybe we can talk about it. And Bridge says Ben Barnes. Battle Beast is a badass, but Alan the Alien is a goat. Nolan was just watching Battle Beast beat the shit out of Mark just so he could say, I told you so. Battle Beast lives up to his name. He is a badass. Battle Beast, so he transforms over to Worf. Battle Beast was holding back the whole time. Brennan,
he didn't just go ham and leave. Like he decided, I'm not even going to kill anybody here.
You are not worth my honor. I will disappear now. That's basically what he said, and he was done. Let's see a couple more chats. Brent says, I like how they introduced and teased all those side characters, the sewer robot dude, and that was the one thing I forgot to mention. The sewer robot, RoboCop guys, the little army that Cecil is building through that other creepy dude from the school. We saw that in the montage as well. So before we get into our bonus little battle thing that we're gonna get into, what do you hope to see? What are some of the things you're most excited to see for season 2? Like, are you most excited to see Nolan again, to see where Invincible goes from here? Like, what are you hoping from a season 2 of Invincible?
I want to know what's coming back. I want to know what's approaching at a high speed velocity towards Earth, right? Isn't that what happened? I want to know. Is it Nolan?
No, I think it. Oh no, it was Alan the Alien.
Is that what it was?
Yeah, that would, and I think the spoilers that the thing that they're holding off on is that the Voltrumites are going to come back to Earth. Where did Nolan go, and what is going on with this coalition with Alan the Alien and all of that, and also all these.
You know what? I'm excited to see what's in the compendiums, so I can be excited to see what's in season 2.
Exactly. Joe's ready to be spoiled. The minute this podcast is over, Joe's ordering on eBay or Amazon the things. That's what I want to see. Killmonger. I want to see more Voltrumites and see how they compare to Nolan.
If they are all evil.
If they are all evil. If they're worse than Nolan. If some are good. If some are bad. Like I'm wondering if Nolan's the good one, and like we're gonna see these people. Like these people are way worse than Nolan could possibly be. Or maybe Nolan is like the hated one that they sent out because, they all hate him and they think of him as a joke, like he's the Potzer or something. Or maybe he's the most evil one that's trying to like the story of the Justice League movie where he's been kicked out and he has to do something big to get his way back into home. I don't know if it's as transparent as what he's saying. So I think the thing I'm most excited for is to see more of the V's and see if what Nolan told us is 100% true, and also see Battle Beast fight one of them that isn't invincible and see what kind of battle that shit could be. I think those are the things I'm most excited for. And so before we get into that, I put out a tweet the other day that is from one of the members of the cast of Invincible. Now, let me see if I can find it real quick. But it was something along the lines of, I don't want to waste too much time trying to find. Okay, this is from one of the voice actors, I believe. Now that seasons 2 and 3 for Invincible have been announced, I'd like to remind everyone that the animation and the show in general take a long time to make. Season 1 took about 2 to 3 years from script to finish. Boards were started 5 months before I was hired as an actor. I worked on revisions for a year. So maybe they've been working on it already, but with the quarantine and all that, stopping production probably for a while, them waiting to see if they got picked up for a second season, and them wanting to keep the same high quality of the production, we could be looking at 2 years. I read into that we might be looking into 2 years before we see the next season of this show. And in a landscape where there's so many shows, so much stuff, I think the way shows come out nowadays is a little dangerous in the way of keeping and building audiences, whether it go to Better Call Saul. And I think Westworld started this, and then Game of Thrones copied, and then a lot of other shows copied. Instead of rushing and trying to work hard to get that year production schedule, it's like, okay, we're gonna be like movies. We're just gonna take as long as we can to do seasons. And I appreciate it because of quality, but I also wish shows would build on the hype that they get. And I want the show to last as long as the story in the comics they want to tell. And I think Robert Kirkman said he wants to get 5 to 6 seasons of it. And I hope we get that. And I hope that we can keep building hype for this show and the audience stays excited going into a season 2. I hope we don't have to wait 2 years, but I guess it could be. It could be 2 years. 2 years, exactly, Dworkin. That's what I'm saying. It's like 2 years is a death knell in this sort of quick cycle TV culture where it's like Cobra Kai almost died if it wasn't for it being re-released on Netflix. If it really was like a 2-year break before it came back out on YouTube Red again for that third year, it wouldn't have had the explosion that season 3 had by all of it being released on Netflix, a much more popular platform. Some shows disappear for a while that are on the cusp, and it's hard, like something like Better Call Saul, I don't think is going to have as explosively popular of a final season as they would have if they had every year the show come out, like every year on the year, and sort of really build that audience up. So I do think some shows are hurt by waiting too long, but I'm going to wait for this show and I'm going to watch every episode of it, but I hope it seems to have a lot of good buzz right now, and I hope that buzz continues through, Joe. So,
yeah.
Okay, so we talked about this shit. We talked about that shit. So let's play a sound clip that absolutely has nothing to do with what we're about to talk about. But let's play a game.
Which body part do you need the least?
So right now,
You've been wondering.
This is Ramsay Snow, my boss.
I don't know why I'm playing Game of Thrones thing, but
This is Ramsay Snow, my boss.
my bastard. Everybody, now we're gonna
Snow,
get.
my bastard.
Ladies and gentlemen, it's time for the official battle. Here we go. The battle somebody's been waiting for. That's right. No. I actually did get a couple messages here and there from a few people. A couple of texts after our last live stream, Joe, because we mentioned this a little bit, that were wondering and asking the question what Joe and I thought about a possible fight between Omni-Man and Homelander, and just a little bit of a comparison and contrasting of those two characters. Now, a couple things off the bat. First off, whether it be comparing Spider-Man and Batman or something like that, or from two different universes, it is difficult to compare characters because it's two completely different sets of rules within the universes. But we're going to do our best within our own cheesiness to break up this competition. So I don't know how to do this. First of all, let's talk about a couple of topics of comparisons. First of all, sanity.
I'm ready for battle, Phil.
Okay, sanity. We were talking about this a little bit earlier. Sanity. Who has more of a head on their soldiers and a tactical mind within a fight? Who could outthink the other one? And who's going to be obsessed with milk? Okay, this gets to my specific point about this whole situation. If we're just not talking about a battle, strength for strength, because I think if we're getting into feats and like powers and all that stuff about comics,
what are their powers? What are their feats?
Omni-Man is like 10 times as strong as in my mind.
Sure?
Yes, because what do you call it? Homelander is a mixing bowl. He's a human that has had some enhancements. We're talking about an alien that can fly faster. He can fly faster than Omni-Man. He's stronger than Omni-Man.
Yeah. Here's the thing. Homelander says he can't like there's no leverage for him to
No.
carry the plane, to
No.
land the plane.
No.
So-
We've seen what these Vulture can do. It's not even a competition with feats. So it's like, could the only advantage that Omni-Man has on him is distance. Because the only advantage that Homelander has on Omni-Man is distance because of the X-ray vision stuff or the laser eyes. But those laser eyes are just going to basically bounce off of Omni-Man. He's just going to be able to take it all and walk towards him and rip him in half. The fight in my mind, and I'll let Joe go in a second here, the fight in my mind is going to look very similar to the Immortal fight. Immortal is going to be able to get in a few punches or whatever. Is going to be able to, Homelander's going to be able to get a few punches here and there, but the closing speed that Omni-Man has, the strength and the power of which he's shown, be able to stop punches like Invincible, I would say that Mark's around the same strength as Homelander at this point. And we've seen Homelander deal with cars and buses and trains and planes, and he has a very limited set of physical skills. And then on top of it all, he is fucking unbalanced. He's crazy.
Yep.
He's crazy, and you can play against him mentally. Fucking Basher put up a decent fight against Homelander. And Basher doesn't have a little warp around thing device. He just like, got into a big beef with him. I think a better fight or more put up fight would be if someone asked Homelander against strongest version of Superman, both at their strength. I think Omni-Man and Superman. I think Omni-Man would be smart enough to block out the sun, be able to use kryptonite on him or something like that. But if you're saying fight for fight, I say Superman beats Omni-Man, but Omni-Man beats Homelander.
Which version of Superman? What Superman are we talking? Are we talking about the Superman that spent how long sitting in the center of the sun collecting the sun, where he basically comes out a fucking god? Superman has had so many different powers.
Right.
Over Superman's
what I was saying,
life,
like, strongest version of both characters, Superman wins. Because
Superman wins everything. Strongest version of any character, Superman
There's
wins
definitely
everything.
some weak-ass versions of Superman out there, though, where Omni-Man
Correct.
probably could rip apart. So, but, like, if we're talking about best of the best, like All-Star Superman versus Omni-Man, I think Superman wins. But a couple of things in the live chat. Lady Danish says it perfectly. Homelander can't even lift a plane. And again, you can use mental tactics against Homelander. And everything, the comparisons of the two characters are definitely fun because they're both satiric looks at fucked up versions of Superman. But as individual characters, they're completely dissimilar. Or they're nothing alike. I mean, they are both fucked up, but again, I'll say this before, Omni-Man, I guess, is working within a logic of being a good soldier in what he's doing, even what he's doing with Mark. If anything gets in your way, your orders are to wipe it out. Anything that's going to get in the way of us easily conquering Earth. It's fucked up. I don't agree with the decision, and he doesn't even agree with the decision. He flew off because he couldn't deal with it because he actually has a conscience somewhere in there.
It still doesn't make sense to me. Why now?
Because and I have an answer to that, because unfortunately his wife and Cecil and everything that happened with the information about him killing the Guardians.
That's what I'm talking about.
But why do you do that right there? Because maybe he got word that the invasion's going to be happening soon.
There you go.
Maybe once Mark is there.
That's what I think. That's the only logical reason.
I think the only other logical reason would be that if Mark alone can stop any problem that comes into Earth now that his son has powers, so they don't need the rest of the Guardians to stop those few things that might be too much for Nolan alone. Like that kaiju thing, or the like all the other things that came in that maybe are a little too powerful for Nolan alone. So he needed the group of the Guardians. So once Mark comes of age and gets his powers, he's convinced that Mark is going to be his underling, and that will be able to stop, the two of them will be able to stop any problem, because two Vulturemites can stop anything. So that's why he decided to push up the plan. And that's why the minute where Mark got his powers, he gets this look on his face like, okay, now I have to do this. Now I have to do this because Mark can't get ingrained with these other good superheroes, because then he becomes a good guy too much, and he's already has a hero complex.
Did he do it after Mark got his powers?
Right after.
Do it before.
Right after Mark got his powers. Right after. Right after. So I think that has a lot to do with it, where Mark could help him with any problem, stop anyone that could possibly stop him right now. So it's an easier fight later with just a bunch of fucking kids. Omni-Man is immoral, not immortal. And if we're talking about Homelander, Homelander in some ways is just a fucking joke. Like I think he's dangerous as fuck, but I do think he's an easier defeat. Do you think if all the Guardians, like if Maeve and Starlight and all of them gathered together, could they all beat Homelander?
Probably.
I think so too. I think if they all worked, and as we've already seen, all the Guardians and everyone on Earth, no one could fuck with fucking Homelander. I mean, no one could. I keep flipping them. No one can fuck with Omni-Man. So I think the fight is fun to think about, but it's an easy win for Omni-Man. And if we're talking about the two characters, I think Omni-Man in some ways is more rational and actually has a heart. I think Homelander, and what makes him so fucking dangerous and what puts you on edge when you're watching The Boys, is that dude is fucking insane. And that dude can do anything at any point in time. When he's talking to you like, Joe, I'm calm. I'm doing good. That's okay, Joe. You're really a great co-host. You're great. It's like I'm about to put on Fuller House and like horrify you. I'm going to do the most horrible thing in the world. He's so scary and horrifying. It's almost humorous. But so I think they're both great characters on a great streaming platform. But if they're fighting, Omni-Man kicks his ass.
Omni-Man wins that fight. Yeah.
So Omni-Man is a giant man-child. So,
it depends on how strong those lasers are.
Yeah, no, fair, because he does have distance on him. So before we start to wrap this up, we're gonna clear the chat, but we got a couple of messages from.
Okay, first off, the chat's been going nuts, and I am 100% in Dwarfsburger's fucking corner. Superman wins every time. The only fight Superman will ever lose to
is Batman.
Is the Flash.
Oh, okay, but I know Killmonger. I love how
they're talking about Superman, Batman.
I know. I love our chat's got into a vehement discussion about Superman versus Batman.
Yeah,
I love this.
It's like, Devin, you're absolutely right. Superman wins every fucking time. He beats every fucking hero,
Joe,
with the exception of two: Green Lantern and the Flash.
Joe, save it, because I think we should do a battle show. That might be fun. So here we go. Let's we're always looking for different topics. Let's do a Superman versus the Justice League show at some point. So here we go. Let's listen to a couple of Jay's messages here. I think this first one might be a false alarm message. Okay, here we go. Second one. Jay's left us a couple of messages. Let's see.
Hey, Joe. What if you see Phil, like, in a fight with, like, a cousin of yours, or, like, I don't know if you actually have a brother or, like,
two brothers,
any other, like, close friends, but, like, what if you see Phil in a fight with, like, another close friend of yours? You start swinging on both people, or do you actually start to ask questions? All right, later.
I'm going to answer that before Joe answers it. It would depend the brother. With one of his brothers, I think Joe would be confused. The other one, he'd start punching his brother too.
Oh, okay. Here's the answer.
I love you, Martin. I love you, Martin.
Here's the answer to that. For that case scenario, I am well adept at stopping people from fighting.
Yes. You have bouncer.
Do that. I kind of
you have Patrick
that for a living for 20 years.
And you have Patrick Swayze bouncer like Roadhouse pedigree in your family. Like, Papa Bear was a bouncer for years and probably and also a nurse as well. So you know how to restrain people if you need to restrain people in a safe way.
What I do for a living, and like on top of that, as far as like any kind of training otherwise in sport otherwise goes, I have far more.
Yeah, you have wrestling. You did
them as well.
You did a lot of wrestling in high school and on a good challenge level. You've played. Yeah, you have some martial arts training. You know the jiu-jitsu as Dev put it in the live chat. And
then the second part of this is, in all honesty,
Devin already said
there isn't going to be much time
for
me to come around a corner and catch Phil fighting anyone.
Right. And in fairness,
because it's going to happen like one of two ways. Phil's either going to get get really hurt really quick, and I'm going to come around the corner and Phil's going to be out, or I'm going to see Phil come around the corner to run up to me, in which case I'm ready to fight somebody else,
right,
or stop somebody else from killing Phil.
Those are fair equations. And I was also going to say, like, knowing your brothers, if we're talking about both of them, that it wouldn't be long. You know, you'd have to get there pretty quick. If the big B was coming at me,
they're both big,
right?
They're both big guys.
If the big B was coming at me angry, swinging, I wouldn't last long.
Same with Martin, too.
Right?
Like,
no,
they're both. I am Martin's the smallest man in my family.
Martin seems like he has. He has really good reach too. Like he could get me with his hands before his body even comes close.
He's 6'2".
Yeah.
I am the smallest man in my family, and I am literally that far.
Yeah, that's about the size. Yeah, that's about the size of Joe. That's about right.
I'm like this far away from 6 feet, and I'm the smallest guy in my family.
And we also get a couple messages from Mandrell. Let's play this in the live chat.
Hey Phil, this is Mandrell.
Good to see you, Mandrell.
Just to let your audience know that the story is not linear at all. It's very complex yet structured. And Omni-Man story, that's probably one of the best stories out there. But yeah, I can't wait for season 2 as well.
Ooh.
Season 3, I can't wait to see what they do with the show and how they translate that from comics to the show. But yeah, man, have everyone put on their seatbelts. They're in for a wild ride.
Non-linear. Whoa. Okay. Mandrell said a lot of awesome stuff. Always great to have Mandrell. He left one more message we'll play in a second here too. But a lot of excitement. Can you almost hear the excitement of him holding back in his voice right there? Like about what? Like there's a little laugh there. Non-linear. Does that mean we might see multiple timelines and multiple universes, like the multiversey kind of thing within the Invincible universe? So we see multiple versions of events that might happen. That's the vibe I got from that message. But we'll see. We'll see. That's a good, really awesome message, Mandrell. Let's play one more.
Hey Phil, Mandrell again. Final thought is just a heads up for you and Joe. Omni-Man actually turns out to be one of the most interesting characters of this entire story. Now, I know we just watched season 1, and we know that we haven't seen the end of him, but just let it be known, he's actually one of the most interesting characters of the whole show, and he might end up being a lot of people's favorites, regardless of what he does. And regardless of what happens surrounding him, okay?
He's my favorite characters right
now. That was my final thoughts. By the way, my review, great season, fantastic job. They stuck to landing. They did everything right. And I hope that they continue this with season 2 and 3 and beyond. All right. Have a good day.
Awesome message from Mandrell. Yeah, I was just gonna say he's already my favorite character. It's
his show. It's not Invincible's show. It's
like that's my
show.
one fear for season 2 is that we do, and that's why that last message super excites me with what he just said, because my one fear going into season 2 was we weren't going to see Omni-Man next year, or if we see him, it's only going to be at like the very end of the tease or something. And maybe he'll be season 3 will be the next Omni-Man centric season, from what Mandrell's hinting. But from what I heard there is that Omni-Man is as much of a, to your point, is a main character here of this show. So we're gonna a lot of really exciting things to come. We got one more voice.
Wait.
Yes,
I got a comment on the chat. Merle, Superman can beat every Green Lantern in Injustice. He did, but correct me if I'm wrong. Doesn't Green Lantern in Infinity Crisis completely destroy the entire fucking universe, all universes, and then rebuild it all?
One stupid question I always wondered was if the Green Lantern can he manifest any item in green? Can he like?
No. Anything he can think of.
So can he make kryptonite?
As long as his energy in the ring can happen.
So can he make kryptonite dust?
He recreated the universe.
Right. So he can make kryptonite. So Superman doesn't stand a chance. Done.
Correct.
Once you introduce,
he can make kryptonite.
Right, and he can go kryptonite dust inside your lungs.
But can Superman make himself a kryptonite proof suit? And get plot armor.
I've seen Superman in that suit, in that plot armor suit before. Oakley's question: if Omni-Man had kept punching Mark, would he have killed him? Yes. I'm the believer that Omni-Man knew the exact point in time when he would have killed him, and when he stopped, if he had punched him a few more times, Mark would have his lungs would have imploded, and he would have lost his breathing. He's not like immortal. You can't just sew his ass back together and make him go back. I think Voltamites can die. It's like with Superman, or like he can die. It's just about having the force to kill him. So I do think that they can die, and I think Mark was 2 or 3 punches away from death in that moment. He was like when Rocky should have thrown in the towel in Rocky 4 before Ivan Drago did that last punch to Apollo Creed. Like if Rocky had just he decided to throw in the towel a little bit earlier. Jay left us one big long message. Joe, say your point.
Before Jay's message, I want to point out one last thing. That note, you didn't see one word of dissent in that chat about the Flash kicking Superman's ass.
No one wants to talk to you about the Flash.
Because the Flash, it is known.
It is known. Here we go.
It is.
I couldn't hold this in. Fucking, like, Batman with prep time beat Superman 10 times out of 10. Batman can, like, there are, like, 3 or 4 different ways you can take away Superman's powers, okay? Like, seriously. Red sunlight takes away his powers. Blue kryptonite takes away his powers. Batman already knows these things. Batman can beat Superman 10 times out of 10 if you give him prep time. I don't care what you guys say about his powers. Batman would figure out a way around
I kind of agree.
Give not enough prep time. I don't care what person you put in front of him. Whether it be Superman, Darkseid.
He hates when I push pause, but yeah, go, Jay.
Okay. Given enough time. Are we ready yet, Batman? Okay. You need to figure something. All right. I'll call you in a month. All right. I'll check back in a month. Hey, Bruce. Are you ready to? Are we ready to go yet? No. You need more time.
In fairness,
sneak attack. You're gonna.
I'm gonna play the rest.
Okay. So should I just not expect it at this point? Should I just wait? Okay. Next week's not good for me though, Batman. Do you need any more time? I mean, come on. Superman can move at the speed
to me, the best person that you want against Superman. A lot of people are like, bringing up all these other people to battle him. I think the best battle against Superman is you use psychic powers or magic. Those 2 things against Superman have shown to be the most effective against him. Like someone like Doctor Strange, I know a different universe. Doctor Strange would probably fuck up Superman because he would just use magic and put him in some sort of trance or put him in or just put him in an endless loop where he's flying into a tunnel, into another tunnel, to another tunnel. Like there's ways to handle Superman. And I also get Jay's point. I know you guys are being whatever, but I get Jay's point where Batman does have prep time. He has beaten Superman on several thousand occasions and the hundreds of occasions in the comic books in certain fights. So to Jay's point, he has done it
only to legitimize Batman.
Fair.
That's the only reason.
Fair.
That is actually the only reason. We're going to make Superman be able to beat absolutely everybody else but Batman because he's got infinite money and given enough time.
What's his superpower? Money. Okay, let's play the rest of Jay's message. Sorry, Jay, for cutting it off.
Whatever. Batman figures out the answer to beat him. Okay? That's just what Batman does. That's not what Batman speaks. Even Superman doesn't say shit back. He just does it. Okay? Batman is always going to beat Superman when they both know they're going to fight. Okay? Because Batman would have set up the fight. So like by the time Superman was flying over, by the time Superman got there, all his powers would be gone because Batman would have set some shit up like that. Don't tell me that Superman is invulnerable because truly his invulnerability has a weakness to it because they gave him limitations of having like a bunch of weaknesses to counteract that invulnerability, and I guarantee Batman would take advantage of those. This is not it. I don't know why you're trying to argue.
I love it.
And Dwarfburger, there's no way he could win.
Dwarfburger, he's calling Dwarfburger out.
Now, if Batman and Superman fight, he like not knowing each other. Yeah, Superman probably wins if he does anything.
Probably.
Batman is not going to be able to handle that thing. All right, later.
Very impassioned message by Jay, giving out his point, battling Dwarf Burger in the live chat. The only part I'll rip apart of what you say, Jay, if they just met randomly, maybe. No, if they just met randomly, Superman's gonna treat Batman like that train in Invincible. It's not gonna be quick. It's gonna be quick and very effective. But yes, Joe, you're right. It is that endless cop out of, Batman has prep time, he wins. It's that endless comic thing, but he has proven on occasion he can do it. But if we're getting down to what we were talking about initially, this is what I love about doing these podcasts, doing these live streams. I love that we were talking about Omni-Man versus Homelander, and it gets into a Batman versus Superman thing. Like you can't. It's like if we were doing a review of a Babylon 5 and we somehow get into a Star Trek versus Star Wars debate. You can't help but talk about the good ones sometimes. I always enjoy those kind of battles. That's why crossover comic books exist and these kind of discussions exist. And honestly, this won't be the only time Joe and I enter this kind of discussion. This was fun talking about this at the end, and we could do a lot of different battle things like this. These kind of things can be amusing and fun if everyone has fun with it. You can passionately defend your choices, but Dwarf Burger says Superman is faster than bullets. Batman's a 50-year-old fart. Batman has armor made out of plot, says Lady Danish.
Exactly.
Merle says, Phil, Batman still lost most fights with Superman. Absolutely. I think the best example of a fight between Superman and Batman that was done really well. Surprise, surprise. I'm going to say the Batman Superman animated series, World's Finest, when the only time Batman ever gets something over on Superman underestimates him for a second, and he comes at him and charges him to run towards him, and Batman puts him in a little trip hold, trips him. It was just it's a simple worked, used Superman's balance and strength against him to fall over.
Here's the thing. With that,
it can only last so long.
And Batman sticks his little foot out, and it breaks as Superman's ankle flies straight through it, much like Invincible's face does with the entire train, every single real human that is aboard that fucking train. That's the thing. I'm Superman and you're Batman, and I lay one finger on you and that finger goes through your fucking forehead because I'm Superman and I can lift fucking buildings, and all you are is Batman. The very beginning of the fucking Invincible show shows you exactly how stupid fucking Batman is, fighting alongside these fucking gods and titans and aliens of other fucking worlds and dimensions. Are you fucking kidding me? He can't even hold the goddamn, what was it, a car or a tank with his electronic little fucking limbs that start fucking crushing under the weight. Him and the girl are gonna fucking die. Thankfully, he gets the girl out. Thankfully, another fucking hero has to come over and save his goddamn fucking ass. Are you kidding me? Fuck Batman. Superman can fucking crush her. He's gonna piss. I'm gonna fucking piss from my goddamn fucking tower of fucking cave of solitude and are so fucking far and so fucking fierce that it's gonna hit the fucking bat cave and crush the entire thing and drown every goddamn bat from floor to fucking ceiling. That's who Superman is.
Oh God. Okay. I gotta screen cap that one. That needs to be posted as its own video right there.
Are you kidding? The train, buzzsaw, face, that's Superman. Batman is the train, and the people around the facing buzzsaw that was Invincible.
Oh my God. As Dwarf super fart would shatter every bone in his body. Joe's rants make my day. Lady Dana says, Joe, you saw Superman versus Darkseid's World of Cardboard. It just shows how badass he is. He makes love to gods. Batman threw Superman and used the same move against Clabbass. Yeah, Dwarf Burger, I'm 34, and if I had prep time, I could totally beat Superman. So I guess on that note, there's not much else we could say. Invincible season 2 We can't wait to see it. Can't wait. We're really excited that there's a season 3 as well. Season 1, I think we both think was a really amazing season of television. We can't wait to watch it. Whenever season 2 pops up or we get a trailer or something, we'll be covering this show. We don't care if there's 5 people watching or 1,000 people watching. We'll be talking about this series, and when new information comes out about it, when we get a trailer, when we get any casting news, we'll try to come out with information and do random little videos and discussions about it, and we'll be covering every episode of season 2 as well as every episode of The Boys when that comes out too. Speaking of the Homelander and Omni-Man fight, it's gonna be fun to talk about those shows episode by episode because we have talked about The Boys both seasons as a whole season, and obviously if it came out in a binge way, if we ever do another binge show to review it, I want to do it like we did Cobra Kai. Where we binge watch it in one night, or we binge 6 episodes and then binge 6 episodes or something. But I'm almost half okay now that all these streaming networks are doing the episode by episode every week, because it's going to be fun to kind of get back into the rhythm of talking about episodes right afterwards. But you're right. It means we might have to stay up till 2 a.m. a couple of nights here and there for when those episodes get released. Invincible episodes randomly got released at 6:30 on Thursday evenings though. Or it was like 8:30 or something. So I don't know if it's going to be the same thing next year instead of Fridays at like 2 a.m. So
they're trying to take on maybe some prime time
eventually
with their release drops, seeing how that works.
I think you're going to see that stuff. Ooh, Queen Maeve versus Wonder Woman. We'll get into that next time.
Wonder Woman is a god.
Couldn't Wonder Woman bench press a planet once or something?
Wonder Woman is a god.
I think she bench pressed a planet at one point in time. Superman could fly the outer atmosphere and laser him. I believe art is exploding.
Hello, like there's so much like the only reason why it's ever been a debate is because the comic books had to, like, Superman won't kill. Okay, that gives Batman enough time.
Superman's a little bit of a cheese ball, and it can work against him sometimes. But who's more of a cheese ball than
Superman wins? Just melt Batman's legs off, cauterizing the wounds, and melt him to the concrete in his fucking little black suit.
So everybody, thank you so much for checking this out. Jay, we will play your message next time. I know you want to defend. Oh, fuck it. Fuck it. Let's. I gotta play it now.
You know he's got rage in that.
Yeah, I know. I gotta play it now. I was gonna put this off, but no, I can't do it. I gotta.
Everybody's waiting for the response.
Yeah, we need a response to Joe's rant.
Hey, this is Joe. Did you ever watch this movie called Justice League Doom? Because in it, they took Batman's plans in order to basically stop every single member of the Justice League. They took all of his ideas and said, let's use this blueprint to stop him. Like, thank God Batman actually was worried about the Justice League having going out of control or something like Injustice Lords. And they used those plans, and they all worked. And then Batman was the one who had to save everybody. So, yes, Batman would beat Superman. And I don't care about Superman's powers because, guess what? You can take him away, and then he don't have superpowers anymore.
So there you go. So I think Jay's point to articulate the end, I think the point is Superman's powers would be negated because Batman could easily find a way to dismiss the powers. Given enough prep time. Given enough prep time. Given enough prep time for a podcast, Joe can rant about anything. So everybody, I love you guys. Thank you everyone that joined us for this midweek stream on a non-usual time. We appreciate all you guys checking this out. We cannot say enough thanks to the people that still support us. Please help spread the word and get more and more people to come check out the streams. We really appreciate it. If you haven't already, hit that like button on the way out. It helps us with YouTube. Thank you for the messages you left in the comments. You guys, honestly, you as well, Jay. Thank you for being a good sport and always leaving awesome messages, impassioned. You make the show, Mandrell, Dwarf Burger, all you guys. Thank you guys for making this a good time for us. Joe and I will be back pretty soon. Maybe this Sunday. We'll talk about when the next time we're on, but we'll be on soon. I'll also, if people want to know, I'm on every Wednesday on Tony's channel, The Usual Suspects, with him in Bridge 4, talking Game of Thrones topics. Both of them will be joining us over here at some point, and Joe and I will also definitely be talking about House of the Dragon. Once we get a trailer, we'll be getting into all of that and picking apart the series and all of that. We're not gonna look at every picture because it's hard to do a podcast on just a couple pictures, and we're not really short video guys, but we will definitely get into talking about the pictures in when the trailer comes out and all the images that we see, and do a big breakdown for House of the Dragon and leading into that. And we will be recapping and reviewing every episode of House of the Dragon when that drops as well. I also pop up every other Tuesday with Matt, Big Daddy Matt, on Tuesdays to talk about the Sopranos episodes. And that's basically what's going on the channel right now. But Joe and I random streams and that. But we will. Some new shows will be popping up soon as we get closer to the fall and the summer. So. Oh yeah, the final season. I was just thinking of the next one. The final season of Ozarks is coming out soon, which will probably be the next new show that Joe and I talk about, unless something else pops up before that. So everyone, if you haven't already, hit the like button, hit the subscribe button, share the channel with a friend, and I'll talk to you soon, Joe. Thank you. Peace. Listen, Joe, if you don't think that Batman can beat Superman, I'm gonna bash you back into the fucking Stone Age. Invincible. Motherfuckers.
No, Dad.
No, Dad, don't do it. Don't do it.